Public Works Committee meeting, Counselor Wilkerson is absent. Counselor Gear. Here. Counselor Sims.
Here.
Chairing. Counselor Nelms. And Counselor Harden.
Here.
So you've got 3. You've got a quorum.
Can I get a motion to dispense with the reading of the minutes and approval?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, great.
That was Gear and Harden.
Yeah, I think everything's gonna be good.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. Yeah, everything's going to be Gear and Harden. Sorry. I was stupid.
So first up, old business 010220, request for updates on Green Springs revitalization, Berkeley Squires.
We are hoping that they'll wind up. They met with Will on site Friday, Chuck and I did, and he is gonna try to have all the landscaping and everything finished by this Friday. He said he's got everything left on the, we went over the checklist, so I'm hoping by then he's done, God help him. It's looking great, don't
It does look great.
So, and they're just about through, I believe, with the stone sign. They didn't get through with it today, should be tomorrow. Then I'll coming in on the southbound lane, got those up my regions on Valley. And I believe they got all the striping that's completed. They got the turn arrow coming off of Raleigh.
Yeah.
So they've got it done and got it in there. Then we got through with the public striping that we did with them. So other than the landscaping, and they're gonna have 2 nights of cleanup on the sidewalks and all that. And then after that, they should be complete.
Are they doing any additional signage on the side of the road that parallels where there's now bike lanes? Or is it just only what's on the street?
I think it's just on the street, but I'll find out. It may be something we can, if they have, I can get with Randy, we can do something.
Come in afterwards and do something. I had a
Yeah, I'll ask, I'll get with
feedback
Brian
related to that.
and ask him.
We still keeping it on here for further action. They're not through with the project yet.
And then that also
Not
depends
yet.
on how long the Fed poles stay up. Somebody has some YouTube meeting on Saturday night. But we still waiting on those, because I mean, they can't, it's just a, they'll come in when they come in. But all the lights are gonna be operating before school starts. They are gonna have all of they are finished, yeah, all the flashing and all that stuff will be, they should be complete by at least I believe they said Thursday this week. So all of that will be operational before school starts.
We've definitely received a lot of feedback. In addition to the initial improvements of the vehicular traffic, seeing the green lanes and the pylons in between. I mean, people are definitely taking notice of seeing the bike lanes because having those in Green Springs really transforms that corridor. It's nice. Anybody else have any comments or questions for Mr. Squires?
Thank you. I had several, Carolyn Buck messaged me and Clark last week and just was like, and then Nevada sent that message and on her bike and said she just wanted to cry. She was so happy to see the bike lanes. So thank you for all that.
All right, so without any other comments, we'll go ahead and carry this over at least one more time until Diane wraps up this project. And so 1506-22, request for permission to work in the right-of-way on Reese 16th Street and alley surrounding 1707 Reese Street. So this was carried over from last week. Kayla is not here. Is there anybody representing this item?
Yeah, come on up.
You just introduce yourself, name
Okay.
and address.
I was here last week with Mark Gonzalez, Lynn Shannon Wolchek. Mark says he hasn't had a vacation in 3 years, so he's on vacation. So we took y'all's comments. I think Mark got Kale, what we have. I don't know if y'all get the new site plan.
Brian, do you have the new site plan? He says no.
Oh, no. That's not going to be very helpful. Joe, want to make a copy of it?
He can
You
take
can
a
make a
picture of it and
picture.
project it.
So is that is different than the one that you?
Yes. I'll show y'all what we changed on it. I'm getting married Friday. I don't know if I'm more nervous about that or this meeting. I don't know. Congrats to y'all for making me nervous.
This meeting's a piece of cake.
Well, congrats to you on getting married.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's exciting.
And Kale just said I haven't received any updated site plan for Reese.
I think we sent it last, Mark sent it last week to him, I thought.
He has been out since like last Wednesday.
He's
But
looking,
he's
he's checking
been in
his.
email, yeah.
Well, let me tell you what we did. Does it have a pointer?
Wyatt, you have yours?
I won't point it to anybody. So what we did, I don't know if you can go up, we had parking lined up here backing out, which made the sidewalk zigzag. So y'all's request was to sort of straighten that out, which I think Councilperson Andrews talked about more landscaping. That gives us a little bit more area to do some more landscaping. The rest of it sort of stayed the same. Y'all wanted one-way in, so we eliminated the two-way traffic, angled these parking, and then did parallel here. We added, I think, one of the things that Hale wanted was the sidewalks, we put a sidewalk there. So really what we're asking, we fully expect to meet all codes inside the site. We're not asking for any necessarily site plan approval. We're just asking to be able to improve the alley here, which we would not back into, would not park on it, and then improve this area here, and make it public parking. And Dr. Manscapper and I met this morning. I'll let him share with you what that is. I think he needs some parking. We're okay with that. But I thought if we're going to pay for it, we'd like to get credit for it toward our parking now. So
y'all work on that?
yeah, I'm okay with it. He wants to designate it over his business
So
hours.
we talked this morning, and I mean, this wouldn't necessarily be bad for us as long as we had the 10 spaces that we currently do reserved for us Monday through Friday during business hours. And that,
Dr. Mosco, would you mind just going ahead and
Yes.
standing up so?
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, the additional parking there is beneficial. I think one concern that I had that we talked about this morning was just that there's going to be such a need for parking there because so many people park in that gravel area anyway, and then once there's additional retail space and additional people needing parking, it's all going to go this way towards Central. And if we don't have some dedicated parking area, then it's just going to be really difficult for our patients that are coming in and out in the middle of the day to battle restaurants and everything else that's there. But I mean, otherwise, I don't have a problem with this.
I do have one question, and this is, I don't know how we handle this. I mean, you can't reserve public parking spaces, so.
No, you can't. You are correct.
So, question mark.
No, you can't.
Yeah.
They can be, the best that can be done is that they could be designated as surplus and then leased out. But they can't be public and dedicated. They gotta be
One or the other.
The other thing I'll just note, just because you said it, with regard to credit for number of spaces, this body can't do that. So that has to be the BZA. That's a variance for the BZA. So we can't tell the BZA what to do, obviously, so we just can't address that. We don't have the authority to address that. And then one other just real quick question. So it's one way. Brian, can you move it down some? You know what I'm about to ask.
About the easement?
No, well, I was gonna ask about the vet, actually.
About the vet's off
No,
there.
I'm sorry, the other way, going up. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's it. So, you're fine. No,
Okay.
you're good.
Sorry.
So I take it that the vet's on-site parking would then have to come out and go opposite on the one-way street?
Yep.
Which is just a little bit, but the other option I would think would be cutting out a couple of parking spaces on Central, giving them a cut, and then closing that off and making it actually one-way.
I mean, cutting this off and doing another curb cut here.
Or somewhere, yeah.
Because I will say, it worries me a little bit, because if I'm coming out of that vet's office right there, I'm gonna be real tempted to just go whoop, and get out on Central, even though it's one way. I mean, just.
I don't know if you've talked to the vet's office about how they feel about,
I'm not talking about this point.
yeah, about directing their clientele through the development.
I wouldn't think he'd like it, quite frankly.
Yeah, that's sort of my thought as well, so that's why I was wondering if the parking spaces are gonna even out, right? If you lose, say, 2 spaces on Central, the parking spaces we're gaining parking spaces, so that's not an issue, it's just a matter of it being done. And then the vet actually could even gain some parking, I would think, once that's closed off. But my guess is that that's gonna be an issue for the vet, and or what Barry's saying is just gonna be too much of a temptation for people to take a right and get out with people coming in the other direction on one street.
I mean, I think losing the 2 angled spaces, I think they pick that back up.
Oh, yeah, we're still gaining spaces at the end.
They have a lot of parking in there.
Yeah, you're gonna pick up 2, just extending the parallel down. if you
Maybe
close
3,
it off.
this one's too long.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, you at least get 3 more.
Yeah, so I mean, you're, at best, it's a wash in terms of the number of spaces.
What's the purpose for wanting to open that up into the vet's office area?
I think that Kale told us to do that.
Oh.
Yeah, they have to be able to get their people out. with their
That's how you
parking.
get out. Yeah, but I mean, but
That's
why would we close what they currently have? Is that on the property that we're talking about?
Because
It's there now.
It's there now. That's
Did you
how
make
they
it
get out
one
of
way
their
from this
lot,
point
because
forward?
there's those angled spaces right lining up next to their parking lot. So that's how they get out, because currently that's not a one-way
We
street.
get
it's a
out
side
onto
street.
Central, out of Noel Daniels. It
Right.
goes right out onto
That's-
Central.
That's right there.
That's right there.
Right there.
You come out the side and then you go onto Central.
Oh.
That cut is already there.
Oh.
Yeah, that is existing, so what they did is they left
Oh.
it, but I'm just saying, if you're coming out of Noel Daniels,
Oh,
instead of
we
going
do
all the
this-
way through and going out that way, the temptation is gonna be to go
Wait a minute.
boom, and get on.
So wait a minute. Yeah, so we just need to open that back up so they can go directly out onto Central and not have to go into 28th Court.
Correct.
That's what we're talking
That's
about,
what
just
we're
putting a
talking
cut on Central. And you're gonna gain the parking spaces back, the number of parking spaces back, you're just relocating.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's something, I don't know how that fits with what y'all wanna do, but that's just a concern.
So that conversation needs to happen with Dr. Daniels.
Yeah, I would think
If he
so.
says no, we'll
I don't think he will. I think he.
I think he might say, I have no idea what he's gonna think, but
No, yeah.
if I were that business owner, I'd be concerned about that exit.
And from what I understand, he's excited about the
Sure.
idea of this happening, so I can't imagine he would change his complete opinion based on one curb cut. I mean, I don't know, I can't guarantee that, but I can't imagine that he would decide he hated the whole thing just because one.
He's gonna benefit either way.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be good for him, so I would just say a conversation with him and explain. Because I'm sure Kale was thinking, oh, it's no problem, they just come out and they go through, but I think most people would just do the quick thing, which would be to go the wrong way and go out. And there's space there because of those angled spaces.
So we're talking about maybe eliminating this and making this 2 lane and out, it becomes 1 lane.
No.
He's talking about opening up.
Yeah.
Because we may go ask them about this.
Yes, yeah.
Or
yeah.
closer to where you are.
Yeah, I mean, really, I mean, one of those first 2
adjacent
spots,
spaces,
yeah.
Opening that curve
So
up.
instead of the cut being there, it would be right. Well, no,
Down,
no,
down.
yeah, like
Right there.
right there.
Okay.
So it would just be a slight change in the way their parking went out.
Well, you gotta stretch it there.
And then
I
you
know, I
close,
can't
and then
reach.
you close off that access right there, and
I
that's
need to
where you're
point it.
making those other parking
And
spaces.
some steps.
Yeah, what I would say is, with regard to the location, I would say we probably need to talk to Kale about where the best location for the cut would be.
Yeah, sites, parameters and all that.
I was thinking that too, but then I'm also thinking now that they're like 2 things right next to each other. And I don't know if engineering wise, if it makes a difference but wherever it makes the most sense engineering wise, that's it. We talked about that.
I definitely think if they were both two-way, it would make more of an impact, but since they're each one-way, or that's the other question, will the other one be a one-way exit, or will it be two-way?
It would be the other one would have to be two-way, because you're going in, it's the only way in and out of that parking lot.
Yeah, that's the only way you can get in and out of
Okay.
the
It's
event.
got a median right there.
Okay.
So this wouldn't be a right in, right out, it'd be a full cut?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd have to be, because that'd be the only way in and out of that parking lot. Their private parking lot.
Okay. So there's been a number of changes since 2 weeks ago, which include the elimination of the angle parking directly on Reese. So thank you for that. There's been change from two-way to one-way traffic on 28th Court, as well as the sidewalk. So there's been some improvements, but still not there. So you're going to go back and talk to Noel Daniels about traffic, basically the entrance and exit from their property, what's acceptable to them, to see what can be negotiated. Does anybody else have any other comments or concerns for in 2 weeks as far as additional things to update in the rendering?
The dentist office and how they're gonna get their parking.
So that would have, so the proposal for that would be that basically the improvements would have to occur, and then the city would need to turn around and lease a designated number of spaces to the dentist's office. So again, there's gonna have to be some additional discussion if that's a viable option, and, and just think about the timing of that and what's appropriate.
Yeah, 'cause I mean, we just can't, that'd be less like saying Soho, those are all designated spaces for, Soho Social. We just can't do that with public parking, because the whole point of public parking is it's open to everybody. So we would have to go through the process like we were gonna do anyway.
Right.
But in order to make those designated for the properties, they can't both be public and designated. So, but that, and I don't know, Lynn, you can probably tell us this, because I know this is not gonna be something that's gonna happen overnight. What is kind of y'all's timeline when everything gets approved? Do y'all have a timeline yet?
We could, if we're running a deep recession by then.
Yeah, that can happen.
We're probably, by the time we permit, draw, Lewis and Kev's doing the drawings, worst case would be we're returned a year from now, best case would be 6 months.
Okay. So somewhere.
Everybody's a little bit slower now.
Yeah. So 6 months to a year is probably what we're.
If interest rates don't go to 10%.
And I will say this to Lee. During that time, everything stays the same.
Sure.
So nothing changes until then. Once we get further down the line, then we can start having the conversation about how to handle that. But yeah, just so you know that in the interim time.
Sure.
Nothing changes.
Okay. And then, last question that I think we talked about this morning, but I can't keep it straight now. The 18 spaces that are in this area, are those being counted as what your parking requirement is for the two buildings?
I believe it is Mark did that. I counted, there's 84 spaces here, and there's about 16,000 square feet, so that's a little bit over 5.5 per thousand. So, but they have different rules. A restaurant needs more, so we couldn't do all restaurants here, so.
It was 82, I think, that was required because some of it's food and beverage, and that requires more than retail, but, so that is included in the 84 parking spots that you have?
Yes, those 18 more.
Okay.
Might pick up a few more. It sounds like if
Yeah, pick up.
depending on what happens
3 more.
with that,
Yeah.
we might pick up a few more parallel spaces along the side of your.
And so north of Building A, what you're saying, that land that's been freed up is possibly going to be landscaping? I know this is kind of irrelevant, but that's what you're.
We fully expect to be
envisioning.
all landscaping,
Okay.
what the codes are, we're not expecting it to be yay.
And Councilor Andrus, is there proposed bike lanes on Reese? No? Okay. I just wanted to. I was gonna say, because if there was bike parking, it would be nice. Okay.
There's a bike lane on Central.
As I remember, the issue is that there's parallel parking going in on Reese, and that along with the sidewalk essentially take up what was the other lane of traffic.
Yeah, it's not wide enough.
Thanks. So it seems like we're gonna carry this over again another 2 weeks. Anybody have any comments before we do? All right, well, thanks for your time, and best to you on Friday.
Yes.
We're just carrying
Yeah,
it over.
congratulations.
Yes, we're carrying it over. All right, next item, Counselor Wolverton. You're here. Would you like to?
Thank you.
Okay. Well, I'll introduce that item. While you're walking over. So next item, 010722, request for permission to work within the right of way on 29th Avenue South in front of PNC Bank. Cale Smith was carried over from last meeting as well. Anybody here to represent this item? Is anyone here representing PNC? Isn't that what happened
Last time too? Yeah. It is.
The request is for an indemnification agreement because they're wanting to allow some accessible spaces in front of the bank, one accessible space in front of the bank, and that's going to require some regrading. Dale said if you send it out, he can answer specific engineering questions at the meeting, but I also expect there will be some here.
I think that's why we carried it over a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Was to get somebody here. Because we could have sent it out then too, but.
Yeah. I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
Was that supposed to call somebody? I didn't know.
No.
I haven't seen anything, so I feel like
Hey, so Kale just texted, said carry this over to survey as it ready.
Okay.
Okay.
How about we carry this over?
Sounds great.
And we stand adjourned.